Hey everybody, welcome back to Riverwalk Talk. My name is Chip Harrington. I started the show a little while ago to kind of focus on some local issues and to kind of highlight some people and kind of a community service, bring some awareness to some things. I've always been really interested in our local kind of agricultural area that we have here in Western Massachusetts. I mean, when you go way back in the day, everybody had a farm, right? When Massachusetts was first developed, and that really brought it right up through, in my memory anyways, the 70s, maybe even early 80s when there was active dairy farms around here. You know, Randall's farm is well known. We had Karen Randall on here a while ago and talked about a little bit of the history of her family, but there's just not that farming community like there used to be at one point, and it's so important. You know, there's a lot of talk in the country right now about food and healthy food and kind of getting back to some organic, things in our bodies. And I figured I'd reach out to somebody today that I know pretty well, known for a long time, and as far as I know, is probably one of the really only active farmers in the area and has been at it for a long time, and it has a long, deep history here in Ludlow in Western Massachusetts, and that is Mr. Buddy Ellison. What's up, dude?
Hi, Chip.
How are you?
Good.
I'm going to come around here. So this is my little podcast I started actually in January. I've done this in the snow, in the ice, in the rain, in the wind. Poor Karen Randall almost got blown away. I had to really edit that one to kind of put it together, but it was still fun. She's a tough woman. I'll give her that much. She hung in there. So we're going to walk from here down to the clock tower. It's 1.1 miles, and we're going to talk about, I was just talking at the top of the show about like agriculture. You're really involved in the agriculture community.
A little bit.
In more than a little bit. And you're kind of one of the still surviving farmers, I'd say, that we got here in town. So let's get going, man.
Okay, sure.
All right, thanks for agreeing to come on and do this.
Absolutely, Chip. Like I mentioned, knowing you a long time, I think it's great that you're doing stuff like this to record things. And if you remember, we got together a long time ago to do this with Donnie Roberts.
Donnie Roberts. Well, that was when we were making the documentary about Ludlow.
Yeah, but I think this is kind of dovetails into that. I really respect you for carrying on. I'm a history guy.
Yeah.
I respect you for carrying on. And I'm a Ludlow guy, and so are you.
Yes, for sure.
I like to see that stuff documented because, there are some people that'll take away some good stuff out of this.
Yeah, for sure. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I remember we made that documentary. You and Donnie, you got to really get into the weeds of it, as far as getting into like the agricultural side of things. So it's
reminded me of the Muppet, the two old guys, the Muppets up at
that's right,
up in the balcony.
Right, exactly. So one thing I got to warn you, we got to walk somewhat slow because as we walk and you talk, you actually get out of breath. You actually get, even though you're a healthy dude.
I think we could stay with it.
We'll definitely stick with it, but we're going to take our time here. So they're flushing hydrants. You might be hearing that right now. We're not near a waterfall if you're hearing that. So before we kind of get into the farming and everything like that, how long has your family been here in town?
Well, Zach's fifth generation, my son.
Yep.
They bought the land over on Miller Street, early 1800s,
Wow.
Very early.
Really?
Yeah, and the house went up, and then so a long time.
Yeah, a big old farmhouse up on Miller Street there. So early 1800s. Wow. So fifth generation. I know as we're walking along the Riverwalk here, there's some plaques along here, and I think you said your grandfather is in one of those pictures.
Yeah, he's in there documenting something. He was a big town guy.
Yeah.
The first RFD letter carrier delivered by horse and all that jazz. So.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So he knew a lot of people.
Yeah.
He was a big photography guy, so there's going to be photos of him.
There's going to be pictures of the Ellisons around. When your family first came here in the early 1800s, obviously everybody was a farmer back then because that's how you survived.
All over town.
How many acres did they have?
125 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's bobbed and weaved.
Yeah.
And through things like the Depression, a barn fire, issues like that. But we're kind of on the upswing. I'm proud to say that I have purchased additional land to bring us back up.
Great.
To where we were. We're getting there. There's a couple other irons we have in the fire land-wise, so we'll see.
What were they farming back then? Was it mostly
Well, they had dairy. They had cows, and they had horses, so they were pretty much making feed for themselves for the animals.
Okay.
Oh, and then later on, different generations. I think even probably like when you were young, Joe and I were fooling around, running around the hills back there. And we had corn and pumpkins and potatoes, and we sold corn, we sold pumpkins, we sold cucumbers, all that jazz.
Like a farm stand? Like you guys had a
Oh,
little...
yeah, right up in front.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah. yeah, we did that too.
I remember going to your house. I was very, very young. You and my brother, same age. You guys played football together, good friends. And there was like almost like a watering hole, literally like
a pond.
Maybe it was a pond. I don't know. I had this
Yeah.
this vague memory, and
Oh, yeah.
jumping in there and just wondering what is in this thing. Is there snapping turtles, snakes? I was just like, what is in this thing?
Well, that's an interesting. That was an old. That was an old foundation of a barn that burned.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So my grandfather, there's a picture someplace. I'm still looking for it of him digging it out with horses,
Okay.
pulling a scraper thing.
Yeah.
And they lined it with concrete, built concrete walls.
Yeah.
There was a gate system.
'Cause
That was kind of cool because they could exchange the water. So every year we drained it
Oh, okay.
and we cleaned it.
Yeah.
And I learned how to shovel mud.
Hi, guys.
We would take the tractor down in there and literally rake all the mud down to the gravel and shovel it out.
Yeah.
I mean, as a young kid, my mother, the whole family, we learned to work.
Yeah. Well, you guys
But
are workers.
I will say, and then, back in the day, things were different. It was okay to give a 12-year-old a shotgun
Yep.
and tell him to go keep the snakes out of the pond.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, we worked at it. It was clean. It was as clean as it could be.
I don't know, man. It was probably summer '75 when I just saw Jaws, and I was like, "What is below this?" But I remember it looked man-made. I was just like, "What do they use this thing for?" But
Oh yeah, no, it was cool. And they way back in the day, they used to have there was a building there, kind of an octagon building alongside it. You probably don't remember. It had a
No.
player piano in it. Had my father's family was very musical. His
Mm-hmm.
sisters. And so they had 4-H meetings there,
Oh.
and then there was a big light they put up, and they could skate in the winter,
Yep.
swim. There's a diving board,
Oh, wow.
so it was kind of a place for the youngsters, if you will, to hang out back in the day.
yeah. Oh man. Very, very cool.
It was.
So, all right. So you got your fourth generation anyway. So you kind of grew up in this ag environment, ag family.
Pretty much.
Your obviously early memories are probably just like you said, getting out there. All right, bud, time to
Yeah.
get out there.
Yeah.
5 a.m. whatever. Feed the animals. Was that just? Did you ever get any pushback, or was that always you were always just kind of really appreciative to kind of have that?
Well, you're a
lifestyle?
normal kid. I wanted to go play hockey and football and
Yeah.
baseball.
Yeah.
But my father was pretty cool about it. I mean, he used to say how he was frustrated by that same thing when he was young.
Yeah.
And back, each generation is more forgiving to that. So
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure when my father was 9 years old, my grandfather didn't give him a whole lot to complain.
Yeah.
The complaint list was very short.
Yeah.
But they were cool about it. But I missed it. My mom was great because my mom was able to. My mom came from Vermont.
Oh.
She's a tough woman, smart, but she knew how to I think she knew how to kind of orchestrate things. She was kind of like Henry Kissinger a little bit. She got me into hunting. She got me into football. Got me into with your mom.
Yep.
Got me into sports, and kind of ran block for me with my father and everybody,
Right.
and we were able to do kind of everything at the same time.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what my father taught me. I appreciate what she taught me.
Yeah. For sure. What's her maiden name?
Watson.
Watson. Okay. Two old Yankee names.
Yankee,
Ellison and
yeah,
Watson. You don't
yeah,
get any more
yeah.
Yankee than that.
Pretty much.
You're a New Englander, that's for
Yeah.
sure. So, as I also said at the top of the show, there's just not that agricultural industry anymore. Corporations have taken. It's not just New England, but it's all over the place.
It is.
Now there's talk of China buying up oodles and oodles of land in America and things like that. So, when we were younger, certainly, there was several farms. I remember going to a dairy farm. I don't remember who owned it, but it was up on Alden or something like that. But when you started getting into it, did you guys always have cattle? Because you got a lot of cows now.
We have cows now. The cows had left after a barn fire back in the late 30s.
Okay.
And then it's the depression, everything going on. They never recovered from that. My grandfather had a job here in town as the RFD letter carrier.
Yep.
So they continued the hay thing. And as it got handed off to each generation had to deal with the current issues, be it taxes, regulations. That changed and
Yep.
became harder and harder. When it came time for my father and I to kind of have that talk, my 20s,
Yeah.
it was a money thing. It's okay. This is a lot of money to pay in taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? People had obviously, as you said, built houses, gave up, sold
Right.
off. That had happened. But with the Grange, which was a big thing, Donnie and I talked about that during that other interview.
Yep.
We had a lot of history there. My grandfather was past Grange master, as Donnie's was. So the bottom line is, it came down to how do we do this and keep the land?
Yeah.
Are we selling it? Nope. Okay, what's the next plan? Well, the land's got to help. The land's got to make us money, right? And so we decided to look into what had to be done. I was lucky enough to get into some programs, UMass, Stockbridge Hall.
Okay.
And then further on, getting hooked up with CISA, which is Community Involved in Sustaining Agriculture. Great organization, nonprofit up in like the Hadley area.
Sure.
They've been a huge help to me. They got me into a agribusiness course, paid for by the state, which I thank them for.
Okay.
And they kind of taught you how to do it. So we came back here and decided, okay, the best way to do this, it's either vegetables or cows.
Okay.
So,
And so how many acres do you have now?
currently we have 50 at home that we own.
Okay. And that's still up on Miller Street. But
Oh,
you,
yeah, right there.
But
Yeah.
you also work with the Randall family,
Yeah,
right?
we lease 100 acres on top of the 50.
Oh, okay. And that's for hay?
Hay and corn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. When did you, so you had that talk with your dad, it's like, okay, we're gonna continue farming. When did you transition, or when did you start bringing cows back and cattle
92.
back? 92, okay, so,
Yeah. The great man Homer DuBois,
yeah,
and a bunch, as you know, I'm a firefighter as well.
yeah,
But,
we'll talk about that too.
right, but back in the day, they knew I was trying to build a barn, and as firemen do, and police do,
Yeah,
take care of their own.
yep,
And one day they said, you need to have pizza and beer on this Saturday. And an army of firefighters showed up. And like, it wasn't quite as good as the folks that you see the Amish.
You're right.
But it was probably the best thing we could do in
and you
Ludlow.
literally had a barn raising?
Kinda.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and that actually was pretty good. Rainey DuBois and some of the folks. But the roof went on. I mean, it got done. It was pretty wild.
Oh, I'm sure.
People walking across rafters. OSHA would have had a heart attack.
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of beer and
Oh, yeah,
pizza
well, that
were
might have been there, but-
that day. All right, so 92, you kind of get into that part. And how many head of cattle do you start off with there?
Oh, I went to an auction knowing pretty much absolutely zero.
Oh, wow.
I was reading, talking to people, self-educating.
Yep.
My father had been out of it. My father's a great animal guy, but he was too young when they lost the herd. So as
Yeah.
far as business and agriculture, he knew vegetables. He sold them, but
Yep.
the animal thing I had to learn. And so we grew it from one cow who was pregnant. They call it. She's bred back with a calf by her side. So she had just had a calf. She was bred for another one. It's kind of a 3-pack.
Okay.
I started with that.
Really?
And so we're rocking now again with Donnie and Brian, his son Brian, and my son Zach. We fluctuate between 65 and 70
Wow.
head.
So just over time, so 92, so you've been at it for 40 years, right?
Whatever it is,
Yeah.
don't remind me.
I know it's not a math, but yeah, it's been a bit. So you're doing that now, and it just over time. Are you buying cattle at the time,
All
or
the
is it just
time.
like,
Yeah.
oh, you are, okay.
Yeah, you're always turning over the herd, right? Because they're each one of the, if you have, just to be practical about it, they're kind of like factories. They're kind of like each one is
Yeah.
the herd's going to stay there. We wouldn't turn the cattle herd into meat. They're making babies for us,
Yeah.
and we sell some babies to folks that want to build their herds, change the pedigree, and then some obviously go into the beef side.
Right. I mean, it's not like you can take a vacation, right? When you got live animals like that, it's not like you can
There's a
just
fallacy, Chip.
oh yeah?
Like we had talked earlier, you had to be a farmer or into agribusiness nowadays, you had to learn to adapt. You couldn't stay the old ways. It just wasn't going to be that way.
Yep.
There's still a need for food,
Yep.
local food. So you had to figure out how to do this, and that meant you had to figure out how to have a life too, because nobody wanted to do it. So we figured out seasonally how to do things. We figured out how to have vacations. I was deep sea fishing with Stevie Orlick yesterday and Zach and Jake Prokop. You know, we slammed a whole bunch of striper bass.
Yep.
Had a great day.
Yep.
And I'm back at it today. I mean, you just got to orchestrate it, right? Time. You know how to do that. It's just time.
Sure.
Figuring out.
Yeah, I guess in my mind, it's like, it's just like you've got 65 head of cattle that, need to be fed, need to be watered, need to, some are birthing.
No, you got to figure it out.
Right.
You know, time management, I guess.
I guess that's, but we'll talk about that too, because on top of, as he just mentioned, but he's also a firefighter in town and has been doing that for a long, long time. So he's got really two careers that he's kind of got going on. But
I always like to have a spare, Chip, a spare part, spare
Yeah.
career. You never know. Things go wrong.
I'm the same way. I'm the exact same way.
Oh yeah, you kind of are. You're one to talk, right?
I know. I'm not. There's always got to be an income stream of some sort. So getting back into the agricultural business here in town, people have kind of sold off their property.
Yep.
Builders have come in.
Yep.
How many actual, because you're also on the committee in town, right?
Agricultural Committee on the Agricultural Commission as well. Yep.
So how many actual active, I guess, I don't know what the word that would even entail, part-time, full-time ag people we have still in Ludlow specifically?
Well, there's probably arguably about a dozen people that are out there really devoting the kind of time and effort into it. And then there's a lot of hobbyists, so let's not forget them, right?
You're right.
But the average dairy farm in New England is about 25. I mean, there's not, it's a smaller deal now. And so there's other people in town doing things. People, chickens are big. A lot of people with chickens. The rabbit thing has always been good in town. People like goats now. That's another big thing. Not everybody's going to do cattle. That just takes too much land and time. But anyway.
Yeah, and they're just big animals too. So Ellison Farms, when you do process the meat, how's that process work? You're working with a vendor out there?
Well, So the bottom line is about food safety. And one of the things I took away from my career at Friendly's was it was a great place to learn about real food safety and how to do that in the United States, right? So I did. I was lucky enough, and I thank those folks for that. So anyway, we work with only USDA approved and inspected slaughterhouses. The top of the line. Nobody does it different than us, no matter who you are, Walmart, it doesn't matter. We follow the same rules and regulations, and we work with them. So we bring cattle to them. They do the process thing. We pick it up and we hand deliver it to each customer.
So you have a series of stores out there that have your meat available.
Well, in a way, what we do is we decided, as we mentioned, we have a good relationship with Karen Randall and family. And so we use them as our primary outlet for retail. I don't want to have a retail store at home.
Right.
It's just something I'm not into. But she has one of the greatest establishments around, certainly in Ludlow. And so, she's great, and it's great to work with her.
So the meat is processed, it comes back. How is your meat raised differently than, say, we go to Walmart and buy a steak?
Well, there's a lot of differences, and without getting down into the weeds for the sake of the interview, the bottom line ends up being is, if you know me and you know how I operate, you can come and see what we do. You can see what's going on. We raise all the feed that they eat. So I have total control from the beginning. We calve them. We put the bulls to them. We decide what bulls they're going to be bred to. The pedigree. From start to finish, we have 100% control, which means, nobody else is doing anything there that we don't want them to do, representing my name, our name. And so we also are able to custom, and that's another super thing. We're able to custom cut, custom prepare to whatever anybody wants. Not everybody's a foodie, but some people don't really care. They just want a really good T-bone from someplace they know. And some people want all kinds of exotic cuts, and we can do all of that. So we offer something that's not the same thing you're getting at Walmart.
Sure, I would imagine. So how much usable meat comes out of one cow?
Well, for instance, just for example, right now, we're bringing animals that are about 1,000 pounds to the slaughterhouse, and we're delivering over 200 pounds size, which means times 2. So I don't know, 450? Arguably.
450 pounds out of 1,000
in a box.
pounds.
In a box.
Wow, that's a lot. And then from there, it's got to be stored. How many go out per month are being?
We like one to two per month is our goal. I mean, like I said, we want to be able to go fishing and do some other things.
Sure. So you've got it. So knowing that, so if you got 1 to 2 per month going out, you need to think down the road, a year or maybe even 2 years
Usually
down the road.
2 years.
Down the road is okay. Well, we need to replace these 1 or 2 per month. So how many are being birthed on a regular basis?
It's usually we run kind of split it in thirds. So you have your cattle herd, your first generation, your second generation are yearlings, and they have to go. There's USDA regulations. They have to go before they're 30 months in order to cut through a bone. That's the only reason the United States is the only place in the world that doesn't have bovine encephalitis, because it stores in the bone and the spinal column.
And
that kind of, it's a safe place to go around 30 months. It might show up in 45 months.
Interesting. Okay.
So so that third generation is the ones that are born and being raised by the mothers. So there's always 3 generations on a farm.
Okay. Wow. Very interesting. So being involved in the ag committee in town, what does that entail? What are you guys looking out for?
Yeah, we're out there for education. We're out there to try to help folks maintain their property. We're out there to help them maneuver through the regulations,
Yep.
do a little bit of public awareness, education on what the rules and regs are, what people can and can't do, help them kind of coexist with the Conservation Commission and some of the other commissions in town.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're pretty proud of what we've done. The Right to Farm law, which is part of a town bylaw, was great. Huge
Yep.
accomplishment for us.
Yep. I see those signs when you come into town. To
yeah.
Right to Farm Town.
You know, it just says, hey, look, we're a right to farm community, so there might be an occasional smell or occasional slow-moving tractor.
Right.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of good that comes from that too.
Absolutely. That's all. How many people on your committee?
Right now, we run 5.
How
We're
often
always
you
looking
meet?
for more.
Yeah.
Try to do it on a month. Karen Pilon is our chairman,
Yeah.
chairwoman, I should say, and she is excellent about giving us room to maneuver in terms of schedules. Mm-hmm. So she knows we're busy this time of year.
I serve with her on the historical commission, so she's involved in all sorts of things.
Yeah.
All right, pivoting a little bit. You're also a firefighter.
Yep.
I remember my dad had a chimney fire, probably in the 80s, and I didn't even think at the time, I didn't even know you were like at the time like a part-time firefighter, or whatever the term was.
Call.
A call firefighter.
Call fire. Yep.
Suddenly Buddy showed up. I'm like, oh my God, hey, my dad's chimney's on fire. Can you go? And you guys obviously took care of it, thank God. It all worked out. When did you get involved in the fire department?
87.
As a call fighter?
Call firefighter. We had paid about $1,500 a year.
Yep.
We met every Tuesday, and then we were assigned to a crew, so we would show up on a crew every few days. It depended on how many call guys were there, because it was evenly. So if there were 9 guys, you showed up every 9th day, etc.
Yeah.
And you worked and trained every Tuesday too.
Okay.
So I don't know. You could average probably 4, 5, 6, 7 days a month. You might work.
Okay.
And every fire. And I saw a lot of fire back in the day. Interestingly enough, because being a call guy, you took your stuff home.
Okay.
Like right now, even as a full-time firefighter, say my son or I have to go to the station most of the time to get our stuff.
Yep.
And sometimes we decide what apparatus needs to go. But if you came in from home, where back in the day, we had scanners at home. You heard every radio transmission. You jumped in your truck and took off because you had it. So
went
you
right-
literally would get there right behind the duty crew.
Okay.
So you got a chance to actually be a firefighter back then.
Yeah, I mean, Ludlow at some point was a call fire. The whole fire department was a call,
Yeah.
and then obviously transitioned into a full-time
Yeah.
fire department. I think the first station was right over here by the old Boys and Girls Club.
And it was the mills did it. It was
Yeah.
Ludlow Manufacturing that put
Right.
that together behind the hospital.
Yeah, exactly. There's old pictures of that around there. So eventually, so at the time you were working at Friendly's.
Yep.
So you
Same
had this
time.
whole other career prior to doing all these other things he's doing. So you're working at Friendly's, had your career over there. When did you decide, okay, listen, I want to try to get on full time at this point?
Well, there was things going on with, and I love Friendly's. What a great community it was to work there.
Yeah.
But there were things going on there. I had 23 years. There were things going on there that wasn't for the long term. I didn't see it going to be staying the way it was for the next 20.
Yep.
There were some issues with how old you had to be to become a full firefighter looming.
Okay.
You know, I knew my son was coming up.
Yeah.
It was the right time to make the transition. Went to paramedic school. I had been interviewed, and most of the older firefighters that are retired will never let me live this down. I had been interviewed, basically hired, back in the day, and I turned it. I had to write a letter to the selectmen
really?
and decline it.
Oh, interesting.
I probably would have been on another 12 maybe years before I'd have to do the math.
Oh, okay. Oh,
And so I
interesting.
never lived that down.
Yeah. well,
But I said, I'll be back. It's not the right time right now.
Yeah.
It was just me and Zach at home.
Yep.
You know, money's money. Back then we weren't paramedics. The
Right.
money wasn't really there.
Yeah.
Friendly's, the money was there. So I had to figure it out, but I did.
Yeah, right, for sure. So you bring up a good point too, is that at one point Ludlow transitioned from, so all of our firefighters in Ludlow are paramedics, which is a very high level of
Even
training.
chief.
And right, exactly. But at one point, you had EMTs, and they were EMT intermediate.
and all that.
Yeah, exactly. And then the selectmen made a decision. All right, let's go to this level here, which really was great because there was talk even back in the day, like, well, maybe we'll outsource the ambulance or something like that. Which
there was a lot of discussion.
which was, I think, would have been a bad idea. In fact, I was on the board of selectmen at the time and voted against that, and we wanted to keep it in-house. So all the paramedics, so you had to go back. I mean, paramedic school is not, that's a lot of work. So you're working
Not for the
full
faint of heart.
Yeah, so you're working full time. You got to do hours in the ER. What
Yeah.
was that transition like?
Well, I was still working at Friendly's for a while
Yeah.
there, doing it at the same time. And it was pretty brutal. And cutting hay, I remember bringing textbooks on a tractor.
Yeah, yeah.
It was crazy.
Wow.
But I had a great mentor, a great teacher, Gary Childs, and he used to say to us, you're here, take it seriously, and he used to always say, who are you going to call at 2 a.m.?
Yeah.
Who are you going to call for help? You are the help.
Yeah.
You're all alone. You got to figure it out. And that really just prompted us to focus and understand that this was important. We had to do it. And at some point then I left Friendly's, and the writing was on the wall. But town needed paramedics. So all I really had to do was become a paramedic. I was already a town firefighter employee.
Right.
It made sense.
Yeah.
The pay was better.
Let's go over here.
All that. So
yeah, we're gonna go over here, get out of the sun a little bit. So again, you go to your point. You started a little bit later, being the full-time firefighter.
Oh yeah, I was in my 40s.
Yeah.
My young 40s. That was interesting at the fire academy. But we've been physical our whole lives, both of us, and managed it.
Yeah.
I actually had a lot of fun, to be honest with you. It was one of the greatest times.
So that's another component. So you had to go back, get your paramedic license, certification, and then go to Stowe for the fire academy.
Yeah.
And then at that point, now you're a full-time firefighter in Ludlow. So it's a process. And how many years have you been doing that?
Well, I went full-time in 08.
Yep.
And so I had started in 87 as a call man. So I think, what are we working around, 37-ish?
Yeah.
Something like that now.
Right. So a firefighter schedule is interesting as somebody who goes over and sees you guys occasionally over there from the police side. What is the schedule? You guys have a certain amount of time
Well, they're different across the nation, but there's a ton of them out there, different schedules, but so ours is very popular one. It's 24 on, 24 off, 24 on, 5 off, without overtime and other commitments.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, that does kind of lend itself to having the farm, because I know a lot of firefighters, not just in Ludlow, but all around it.
Yeah.
They're electricians, they're masons, they're plumbers, they've got a whole side gig, which is awesome.
It was factored into the whole plan.
Yeah,
so,
I'm sure.
I kind of saw it could work.
Good plan. So your son's also a firefighter, Zach.
He is a captain.
Yeah. I know he's kind of got an office job now, which is not Zach-like at all, but he's great at it, obviously.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's a good people person, so I think.
He sure is, for sure. So how you're his dad. He's growing up. Was he kind of always interested in that, or did you have a little play in him making that decision?
I never forced him into it, but he's been going on there since. There's pictures all over the station of him this tall.
Yeah.
Right. And it's been part of his whole life. Same thing with the DuBois, Ethan, and I mean, so I don't think anybody ever gets forced into it. It was never forced into it. It was there for him, and I guided him as best I could.
Yeah.
And I think John Mall says it best. He says you fill the wagon, bud, and you give it a push.
Yeah.
And he's on his own, and he's done it.
Yeah.
So good for him.
Yeah. So you're a firefighter family over there now. So going back to the ag side, so you've got your day job, and you got your other day job that you do as well too. Are you looking at possibly expanding on the agriculture side of things?
I don't think expanding. I think refining. All of these different careers we joked about, right? It's really like chapters. However you take your life, right? Yeah. So it's chapters. What I don't want to do, and what I've always tried to do, is make this doable for folks like Zach or Brian Roberts, right? To make this for the next. They've got kids, everything else, all this stuff going on. You try to make it doable. So we try to do more with less. So expanding in terms of acreage and stuff, I'm going to buy a little bit more land, but not huge amounts.
Yeah.
Cows, we're probably going to stay where we are, maybe not move that around too much. I think we're kind of in the sweet spot of what we can do, the kind of money, the kind of time it takes.
Yep.
I think this is what is, without getting yourself in trouble and still enjoying it. I think we've kind of found that.
Yeah.
So customer-wise, I've always got customers, knock on wood. We've got enough cattle to keep them happy. I could have more, but that would be more work. So you get me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like.
Yeah. Is there a retirement plan, or is this kind of just, hey man, you might find me in the field someday. I'm going to be out there.
That's my plan. I'll be dead on a tractor.
Okay.
So well, I'll probably have a tattoo. Do not resuscitate. I don't know. but anyway, well, as far as me retiring, no, I won't retire.
Yeah.
I'm going to retire, obviously, because a kid can be out of the fire department at 65.
Yeah.
Probably not a bad idea in general.
Yeah.
But now we'll just keep going with it. And as much as Brian and Zach want to stay with it, we will. Donnie's still in there hammering away, and he's a couple years older than me.
Yeah.
But they seem to have a good feel for how much they want to do with it, and I think we're there. So we'll see where it goes. And they've Brian's got kids, and Zach's not done with all that yet. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see.
They're young, right? I mean, how old is Zach now?
Well, they're 30. They'll be 35, right?
Yeah.
25. So
they're the next generation. So that'd be great to kind of see that property continue to flourish and be utilized as agricultural land up there.
Well, that's really the key, and I referenced a interview I did back in the day with CISA up in Northampton, and I referenced a story. My grandfather, I was probably 8, 9 years old, my grandfather taking care of me, and grandfathers usually influence the kids because parents are at work, right? For no reason at all. We were working in the garage, he gave me like a hammer, nails, and a piece of wood, and he said, learn how to pound nails straight. So I was over there pounding nails. And he came out, he called me over to the workbench, he grabbed me by the arm. Never hurt me in my life except for that day. But he didn't mean to, but he grabbed me so tight. And I don't know what was going on in his head, but you can imagine. And he said, don't ever sell the property.
Okay.
You're 9 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with that. Okay, Grandpa, sure. Right? But, and that kind of just went away. There was never a problem. But I knew as I grew older what he was getting at. Okay? And I think that was the way that generation maybe said things. Right? But we said, okay, well then we need to find a way to do that. And I think we've done it a little bit. We've added to the property again. I feel good about that. So, yeah, like I said, we found the kind of way to do it and not ruin everybody's life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and we're helping the community. We're giving something local. It's kind of like working for the town. You know how it is. You know your patients. You know the people you work with. You know you're making a difference in town. You know you are. When you see people in town that, hey, I love your beef. Can I get some? It's going. And it's all good, right? Makes you. There's a reason, purpose.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
And we talked about this a little while ago, right? I mean, keeps you young, or at least keeps you alive.
Yeah.
Is having purpose, staying active, and farming keeps you active.
Oh, for sure.
And it gives you purpose because those animals need to eat.
Yeah.
It's up to you. You've decided to have animals in a pasture within fence. Now it's on you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it gives me purpose. It keeps me in shape, keeps me proud, all that.
Yeah, for sure. And you work with local restaurants. I know I've been to the Villa before.
Yeah, we did stuff with Tony,
Yeah.
and Tony was a great partner. And like I said, as you know, Karen Randall, great partner. So that's fun too, because those are people in town. We did wine dinners with Tony, which was a lot of fun. We'd have all these people in there. We had slideshows.
Yeah.
Good time. We were able to promote the products.
Yeah.
And so it's been really cool. I don't know. There's chapters we keep turning. We'll see what else comes down the road.
I know. It seems like it keeps on rolling with the Ellison family. You guys keep on going and going.
That's
great.
I attribute that to the generations prior to us. As you're growing up, you don't miss anything. You're always looking. You know how it is.
Yeah.
You're great parents too. You're always watching them. And so
Yeah.
I appreciate everything they showed us.
Cool, man. Well, hey, thanks for coming on. I do appreciate it.
Sure.
I'll have a link below to your website so people can check out Ellison Farms.
Sounds good.
Can they reach you on your website?
You can email us. It's all that stuff's on the website. You can give us a call. All that contact information's on there.
I know you got a Facebook page and an Instagram and all this stuff.
We have the ellisonbeef.com is the actual website, and so Facebook, and then most people find me pretty easy.
Yeah, no, just if you need Buddy, he's always around someplace.
I try to be.
Yeah, if you have a medical emergency, he's going to show up there too.
A couple of more years.
Yeah, exactly. So that's going to do it. So if you got suggestions for future shows, feel free to reach out. Send me a message. I do have a YouTube channel as well too. I don't really promote it too much, but if you want to see past shows, those are there as well too. So that's going to do it. We'll see you very soon.